Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Today I just want to talk about feeling like you're in the void and space and emptiness. Maybe you're feeling lethargic or uninspired, unmotivated, and I wanted to share 3 things that you can do to break out of this phase and to really start embodying more energy and start really coming alive. So that's what this video is about. Tip number 1 is to be okay with it. Don't resist it. That's a big premise, a big underlying theme of this channel is non-resistance. And it goes for those times when you're just feeling unmotivated and tired and uninspired. Just be with that energy. It's okay. Don't feel guilty about it. Don't bring any shame to it. Don't think you should be motivated or inspired. Just allow what is to be. In this society, we have this over preoccupation with being preoccupied. We're always so focused on doing things. We're so busy and there's not a lot of space in many of our lives. And that is something that needs to come to a balance. So maybe because so many people are doing right now incessantly, nonstop, and are creating like more problems than they're solving with their doing and their activity and their overactivity. Maybe it's you are one of the people that has been called on to just be, to balance out the energy of where you're living. It could be your house, your neighborhood, your city, your town, your state, your country, or for the entire world, really. Maybe some of us are being asked to be a little bit more. So the first thing is to just be okay with it. It's natural, it's fine, and there will be a time when this will pass, but just really lean into it, sink into it, and open to it. Tip number 2 is to start giving your gifts. And if you don't know what your gifts are, what do you love to do? And if you feel like you don't love anything right now, what did you really love when you were growing up, when you were younger, before all of this systematic conditioning hit you on what you should do and what others are doing, and comparison and competition and all this stuff that really pulls us from our authentic vibration, from our authentic movement? What did you used to love doing? And also, what do you resonate with? What do you enjoy watching? What do you enjoy, what kind of people do you resonate with? What do they enjoy? You can really start to cultivate more of this life flow energy if you are able to connect to the things that you love doing, if you're able to start giving your gift. And the more you give your gift, the more this energy for giving that gift will flow through you, and the more you'll be connected to your life stream, and then the more powerful that energy picks up over time. And this is something that at first it requires a little bit of effort, and a little bit of, because we have so much inertia in the other direction. So if we can just start giving our gifts, something will click with you. And you'll just start feeling energized and passionate and alive and radiant, and over time this inertia in the other direction picks up, and you start getting this momentum, and all of a sudden this more of this energy starts flowing through you. More of these ideas and inspirations come to you, and they start coming to you because you're using them and you're giving, and you're allowing them to come through you to give, right? Whether that's painting, whether you're a teacher, it could be anything, architecture, writing, working with animals, working with kids, it's endless. I mean, it could be creating soap. I had a roommate once in Missoula, Montana, I'll never forget it, but he was so passionate about making soap. And while he was creating and making his soaps and putting all the ingredients together, he was the most alive I would ever see him. And he was you could tell he was just so tapped in to that source energy, to that to that life force energy. It was like, she was so passionate about it. And it was so beautiful because it was a real gift. I used this soap and it was so, it was just really high quality. You could tell it was made with love, and anything you do that is giving your gift and comes from your heart is naturally going to open you up energetically, and it's going to bring more of this connected feeling, this alive feeling into you, and it gets more effortless over time. So that is tip number 2. And the final tip number 3 for how to get out of this stuckness, this uninspired, unmotivated, void-like energy where we just have nothing, we don't feel passionate or, inspired to do anything. The number 3 tip is to stop consuming. So stop watching YouTube videos for a minute, stop watching TV, stop watching movies, just really let go of consuming for a minute and give yourself the space for the inspiration to come through. Because I know in my own experience, when I'm feeling lethargic and unmotivated and just kind of dull, I tend to reach for like my phone to watch endless YouTube, or I used to, back when I had a TV, I used to watch Netflix endlessly, or something I have done up until pretty recently, it was like would emotionally eat. Or I would just reach for something, especially when I was younger. It was like, alcohol or weed, or gambling was a big one for me, my God. So all these things, when we reach for them, we're filling that space with what could be inspiration to create. We're filling it with something. And consuming's not bad, but here's the thing. You want to balance between your consumption and your production. So if you're always consuming, you're filling your whole cup with consumption, you're not leaving the space for producing to come in, for giving your gift. So a great way to allow your gift and what that is to come through is just to kind of cut yourself off for a minute from consuming so much. Maybe set a limit, maybe set an hour a day of intentional, conscious consumption instead of just letting that run away, because it can become an all-day thing where I used to. And shit, some days when I'm unmotivated still, I'll just fucking like zone out, on YouTube. And I don't get much out of it during those times, because it's not really a conscious intention. So I'm not really connecting with even if it's constructive, sometimes I don't connect like I usually would. So the beautiful thing is, when we just stop consuming, now we're in this space, and it's going to feel uncomfortable at first. Like you're having like these little mini withdrawals, right? You're like, and you want to reach, but notice that movement. Don't reach. Just allow the reaching to come up, but you don't have to consciously go with it. And if you can kind of just stay in that place for enough time, what you'll notice is that energy to reach and to want to consume something to feel better, it starts transforming, and it starts really becoming a different movement. It's like, oh, well, if I can't, like the energy is almost, if it could talk, it's a strange metaphor, but stay with me here. It's almost saying, well, if I can't consume, what else can I do? And they'll get a little irritable about it. And then I'll say, well, I guess maybe I could do this. And then you'll be fascinated by where it goes. Sometimes it's to, whatever feels natural for you. Maybe it's picking up that paintbrush for the first time in a few years. Maybe you find yourself just randomly like stretching or going for a walk, or you look at your animals and you're like, hey, they could use a little bit of attention here. Maybe I'll take them on a walk. And that walk with the animals, that stretch, that leads to the next thing, the next inspiration. So it can start small here when you give yourself that space from consumption. And in the Western world, we're so big on consumption to feel better, whether that's entertainment or consumerism, or it's just consume. Just give yourself a break from that. Don't go shopping if that's what makes you feel better. Don't go on the internet or on your social media, or just try this for a couple days where you just give that a rest and see what else comes through. And you'll notice, oh my gosh, I'm wanting to engage in a deeper way with life. And if you don't know what you're passionate about, you don't know what your gift is, this is a beautiful practice, because you're going to be led to little inspirations at first. Like I said, the stretching, the walking the dogs. Maybe it's just a real present conversation with your family or a friend or your roommates, or coworkers. Maybe you're just more present in general, and that presence starts yielding what you are gifted at. It starts bringing forward these inspirations that lead you like a breadcrumb to what your purpose here in this lifetime is. And when we reach for something, we really negate that and we cut that off, and we just kind of stay in this kind of, this emptiness area. And I've been there so many times. But the thing that always helps me, just recently I was talking about it, how I just went on like a self-imposed silent retreat. I just literally turned off my phone because I was like, I wasn't creating enough, and I was getting carried away with the consumption. And it was amazing when I turned my phone off. It was hard at first. Like the first, few hours didn't feel that great because I just, I wanted my phone. But then after a while, this deeper inspiration started coming up that was like, felt way more satisfying. And that's the thing, the endless consumerism never leaves us satisfied, does it? It always leaves us kind of wanting more. But when you allow that energy to come through for giving your gifts, now that is satisfying on a deep level. And it will really, and it's not to say never to consume again, but it's just like, let's find that balance again. So those are the 3 tips. I hope that helps you guys. Just know that you don't want to resist this phase. It's totally natural for this to be happening. So don't add any stress or guilt or shame or any labels to it. Just allow what is to be. Start trying to embody your gifts. And if you don't know your gifts, set an intention to really discover them. And you'll be surprised how the universe, how the world will yield to you and will make it really clear what your gifts are. And then the third thing is just try to strike more of a balance between what you produce and what you consume. And you can do this by really giving yourself a break from consuming for a while. So I hope that helps you guys. I thank you so much for watching and subscribing and liking this video and sharing your comments. I love engaging with you all. Can't wait to connect with you in the next video. On that note, I will end it, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Namaste.